Hello, Eternal Life fans. It's Rowan from the Eternal Life Fan Club, and today we're going to talk about evidence of God. Is there any evidence of God? Is it important to have evidence of God in order to believe? Like, for instance, I didn't need evidence to believe in God, and that's strange to some people. And I talked about that in my last video. Like, evidence wasn't a factor; it wasn't really part of the equation as to how I came to believe in God. And I'll tell you right now why it wasn't important for me to have evidence. Because, okay, well, let's talk about, first of all, the hypothetical God. It's important to note that God, in my mind, and in everyone's mind, I think God should be viewed as hypothetical. That means we don't know God exists. Okay, that's an important point. So, how am I able to believe in this hypothetical God without evidence? Okay, here it is. I think, much like Willy Wonka, okay, Willy Wonka is a big part of all this. Willy Wonka was testing the children, right? It was a test. He took the children into his factory and he was testing them to see how they would behave and if they deserved the chocolate factory, right? Now, if you notice from watching Willy Wonka, he never announced to the children that there was any such test. He didn't announce it. He didn't say, okay, children, better behave, better be on your best behavior because I'm testing y'all and I'm going to find out who deserves this chocolate factory. He did no such thing. He was secretly testing them. And so, and there's an important reason for that, right? Because if Wonka had announced to the children that he was testing them, he wouldn't get to see the children's true colors. Okay, because he wanted to see how they would behave with them not knowing they're being tested. He just wanted to see how the kids are, naturally. So much like Willy Wonka, if there's a hypothetical God, I wouldn't really expect him to try to prove himself. In fact, I would expect the opposite. If there's a hypothetical God, I would expect God to actually try to hide his existence, his or her existence. The point is, if God revealed himself too clearly to the world, the element of there being a test would be kind of ruined. Because then everyone would be on good behavior because they're thinking, oh gosh, I better be good because there's this God now. And the test would be ruined. There would be no test. So, I think if there's a hypothetical God, the reason we're not seeing all this great evidence for a God in the world is because maybe the hypothetical God was smart enough. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out, that if you want to test people, you can't tell them they're being tested. If you want to see someone's true colors, you have to observe them when they don't know they're being watched, right? If someone, that's the whole point of a test. You can't just say, hey, look, I'm testing you now. No, you want to see what they're doing without them knowing they're being watched. Because that's how you see someone's true colors. So that's the whole point. That's why I don't really care about evidence when it comes to believing in God. Like, it's clear, like, it also makes this more obvious if you try to put yourself in the head of God. Like, I try to put myself in the position of God. I always try to ask, like, what kind of things would I do if I was God? Especially a judgmental God who's, let's just imagine that for a moment that God's objective in the world was to, like, judge people and decide who is worthy of living forever. Okay, and who isn't worthy of living forever. It's clear then, from that perspective, if you're God, you wouldn't want everyone to know that you exist. You would actually want to hide your existence so that you can sit back kind of in the shadows and judge everyone. You know, make calculations, record everything, and at the end, you see how everyone behaved, you know, when they didn't know for sure that it was all a test, right? It's really the only way to see how someone truly is, to see really what's really in their heart, and to get their true colors You know, that Cyndi Lauper song, True Colors? Yeah, the only way to see someone's true colors is to judge them in secret, test them in secret. So that's why I don't think there's evidence. That's why I don't think God cares about, like, proving himself. In fact, the opposite. God would want to make it look like he doesn't exist. That, to me, is how I can, kind of rationalize believing in God without evidence. Or, at the very least, not good evidence. Okay, so I think I explained it pretty well. I hope you get that. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment. Once again, I just want to clarify all of this whole God stuff. Very hypothetical. That's why I'm not counting on God to save me. Okay? That would be very dumb. I'm hoping there's a God, but I'm not counting on a God, and there's a big difference. Meaning, I'm going to try my best to live forever physically in this world by being healthy, not dying ever, embracing any kind of new technologies that can extend my life. That, to me, is my focus. The God thing is more wishful thinking, and it's a possibility, and that's why I'm God-fearing. It's like better safe than sorry. That briefly should, better safe than sorry, right? You don't want to live your life as though it's not a test. Let's say you lived your life doing whatever the heck you wanted to do with no concern of this hypothetical test. Then you're going to be less likely to pass the test if it was a test, right? You're just kind of living life as though it's a test just in case, okay? Just to be better safe than sorry. It's a precautionary tale, okay? And yeah, that about sums it up. And I don't mean to, I'm not going to this was just a very important topic for me to touch on. I don't mean to bombard this channel with religious videos. Mostly it's going to be centered on health, but when there's an important religious topic that people don't understand, then I'll bring it up. Okay, thank you. May you live forever. And may you pass the test if it turns out that this life was a test. May you take it seriously and live as though it's a test. Oh, by the way, God is hypothetical, and so are the rules of God. So anyone telling you, oh, here's the rule book of God, these are the rules, they're right here, look. You don't know that those are the rules. So it makes sense to kind of cherry pick and kind of come up with your own rules. Guess what the rules might be, and may the best guesser win. I think I'm guessing pretty good as far as what the rules of God would be. And that's really up to each of us, is to make that guess and then live accordingly, right? You're guessing the rules, you're living in such a way where you're trying to obey the rules that you are guessing are the rules, but then it's like, who's right? Nobody knows until if we find out that there's a God or whatever and there's a test, and you don't really know, okay?
Thank you. Well, 2 naughty, nasty little children gone. 3 good, sweet little children left.
So to wrap this up, to summarize this, when you think of God, think of Willy Wonka. When you think of the hypothetical God, think of Willy Wonka, okay? Wonka, he was judging all those children, and they didn't know they were going to be tested, right? They didn't know there was this potential prize of winning the factory or any of that. And there was a reason he didn't announce the test. Think about that. Same way with the hypothetical God, if there's a God. It's like, you got to think about the reasons why there might be no evidence, because that would essentially be an announcement, right? If God is coming up with evidence of his existence and he makes it obvious that he exists, That's an announcement to the world. Hey everyone, I'm testing you all. Yeah, what a great test. No, that's not how you test people. So, Wonka, he's a judgmental guy. Okay, that's the type of God I believe in, is the God of judgment. And I'll get more into that in the future. Maybe future videos I'll talk about what more of the characteristics I believe God has. That's about it. Thank you, and may you live forever.